Greetings, fellow YouTubers. Welcome to Blinky's Guitar Dungeon once again. I have been busy, but not making videos, as I'm sure you've noticed. So I'm going to try to solve that. You may notice I've got something hanging here that wasn't there before. I've got the neck pocket thing worked out, and I actually have, roughly, but I have the neck lined up and on the bout and the holes, and I have the guitar to this stage, and as well, and I'm going to put this down over here for a moment, because I also have ground up some of that domino that Duncan gifted me with, added some pretty I'm gonna have to measure this, a piece of brass that came out of about a 50-year-old anniversary clock. I cut up some of the parts of that. It had some good brass in it, and I used first time I've ever used this particular adhesive, but I really wanted to give it a try. And I don't know if they sell it everywhere, but I'm sure it can be found online. Called Liquid Fusion. It's a non-foaming urethane glue that people in craft circles and I've heard some really good stuff about this, and I can't tell you really, I can't give you any details about the drying time specifically, because it doesn't really give you a lot of information on the bottle. It just tells you kind of what it is. So I clamped with just one simple spring clamp overnight and put it on the old belt sander and trued it up and got it. Right now I've got, this is a kind of a strange looking blank, but the reason it's the shape it is, it's so wide in this aspect, is because of where this locking nut used to be on this Floyd Rose licensed thing that I have in a junk pile around here somewhere. So, and this, of course, is going to be dressed down more. I'll give it I'll put a curve to it, maybe some little decorative grind on the back side where it's low enough that it doesn't matter. And the blank is at this point very true, and you probably can't see on the front where I actually I've put the pencil on top of the frets and roughly penciled the radius onto there. It sits in there very well. It's a bit high, and so where I've got the radius penciled on there, I know that I can at least grind down to that and still have a little meat that I'll have to file. I'll have to come up with some type of a nut file and figure that out. But I've got it about the right width. I've got just a little bit of room to dress and polish there, which is all I really want. And then, but this fits up against the fretboard very well, and once I get this radius and get this dressed back here, it should be a really nice. In spite of the fact of my misadventure with the grain direction on this lower bout, I really like the way it came out as well, and the nut, I like the neck, I like the bout. I'm really enthused with how the nut is coming out. And it's going to be cool. It's going to look very, very cool. And which brings me to another point in the conversation. I'm going to make a video of how I do this. It's really not difficult to do. And also, I'm thinking about because these are actually relatively easy to do, and light. Once I get finished with it, it won't weigh very much at all. So it would also be relatively cheap to ship. So I may make a few of these and give them away to some of my friends and viewers in the YouTube community who may want one to make like a Strat nut blank, which they're just a skinny little thing, and with and then a portion of it being the brass as well. I could knock out a few of those pretty easily. So if some of you guys are interested in a domino and brass instrument nut, let me know. But in any case, so forward progress on the guitar part, forward progress on the nut. But that brought me up to the point of having to do some soul searching. A short song done wrong. And the reason for that is this. I've had that neck for a while, knowing that I wanted to really, because I like that neck, knowing that I really wanted to make something cool with it. Once I had a little green dragon, really, and Percy was his name. But everybody, they laughed at little Percy. So of course I did the same. And I've had that mahogany for a while, and I had a plan for a different instrument that as many of my plans, it didn't survive contact with reality. Now Percy, he grew huge and ferocious, and he ate virgins every day. And I cut some veneers, and in the course of one of those veneers, in fact, and in the course of actually trying to turn this chunk of mahogany into a veneer, I completely destroyed the table saw that I had. Not the motor, but the gearbox, and once the gearbox is gone, it's over. Which diminished the available supply of virgins, and prompted me to say, on that type of saw, it wasn't a particularly good one. And I went for a while without a table saw, and I used some of the mahogany on some other instruments to repair certain things, or make up, just making pieces from this there. So when I ended up starting this project, what I had left for the actual original mahogany board was just shy of what I needed to do this properly and not have these screwy grain discontinuities going on. Quit eating virgins. Try eating sturgeons, man. What would Jamie Adams have to say? But I do, and I have a newer, nicer table saw that would just cut some really slick veneers. And I have enough of this left to make a veneer that would cover this back. This on its own is really enough of a reinforcement thickness for the neck pocket in terms of the back of it. Quit eating virgins. Just eat those sturgeons. I don't know why you should. Please do. And the front, well, if I put a veneer on this, you can't see this. I would probably paint the edges in, which leaves the front of the guitar. If I can't tell, then it's not a really nice mahogany rear bout from the back of the guitar because I've veneered it, which I would probably do with a lighter colored inlay up the center, or maybe a double stripe, just because I can and I think it would look cool. Well, things were growing quite disturbing. So I called up the SPCA. Now, Ed Dana answered, and he agreed that his appetite needed curbing. Said, cut him down, man, to a virgin a day. I agree with that. If I got just a fairly nice piece of some kind of wood and built this up the way you build a guitar, man, this could be a really nice guitar. So I'm sitting here thinking, plastic guitar, really nice guitar. Quit eating virgins. Just eat those sturgeons. What would Mr. Duncan have to say? Just eat those sturgeons. Don't eat the virgins. Give us all a break. And if I decide to veer off the path with this one, then would I abandon the construction of the plastic guitar? Nah, I would still do it. I would just use cheaper woods and a neck that I don't like as much as I like this one. Well, Percy is still on the loose, girls. So, take some advice from me. If you don't want old Percy to get you, at the first available opportunity, you get on over to Mike G's house and relinquish your virginity. But here's the thing. But this is the other part. I had pretty much decided that if I had done the plastic guitar with this neck, that I was going to leave the headstock the way it was, so that I had enough room here to put some ridiculous name on it, like Albatross or something. Well, and I'm going to sit here and quit staring at it and vacillating. Shout outs. Mike G. Do you know that right before I started shooting this video, I was trying to decide what joke I was going to tell, and it occurred to me in about 2 or 3 minutes of thinking that I would probably have to go on the internet and look up a joke that was clean enough to tell on my YouTube channel. Sorry about that. I think, okay. Okay, here's a short joke. Hope everybody gets it. The masochist said, beat me, and the sadist said, no. In any case, hopefully, I'll have something interesting to show you pretty soon. But listen, you guys weigh in on the what you think about my changing paths on the guitar here. In any case, so that's what I have on my mind. Thank you very much for letting me ramble on to you for a while, and be well.